Hey, how's it going YouTube? Welcome to the Brawler series. These builds will revolve around trying to be a hybrid tank and DPS as best as possible. There is a limitation on how much tankiness or DPS you sacrifice to make either work, but this is my honest attempt. This build is for the Stamina Nightblade and optimized for the Deadlands DLC patch. The build works up to Vet DLC dungeons in terms of difficulty as a tank role, so the best uses for this build will be Vet dungeons, normal trials, and normal group arenas. There may be some exceptions to this, so keep that in mind. I personally use these builds when I'm running normal dungeons for gear or easy pledges and I don't want to rely on randoms. Lastly, I'd like to take this moment to repeat myself that please keep in mind that this build does have its limits as either tank or DPS, so please use it situationally. Now with that out of the way, here's the build. So starting off in the character sheet, I have 34 points in the health and 30 points in the stamina, and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For this particular build, I am a Dark Elf. Other viable alternatives include either tank or stamina DPS races, such as for tanks you have Imperial, Nord, and for stamina you have Khajiit, Redguard, and maybe even Wood Elf. For food, we're going to be running Lava Foot Soup and Salt Rice for the majority of content. If you do need more health, then RTM Takeaway Broth or Dubious Camera on Throne would be good alternatives. The reason is we don't need that much health for the majority of easier content, so I choose to go sustain over health. And for potions, we're going to be just running standard Essence of Weapon Power. Keep in mind when you do use these potions, make sure you have 3 points into medicinal use from the alchemy skill line to benefit from the full duration of the potions. Furthermore, we choose Essence of Weapon Power because they give 3 important buffs for stamina DPS: Major Savagery, Major Brutality, and Major Endurance. Here's the stats fully buffed. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Fighting Finesse, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, and Reaving Blows. For the red tree, we're going to be running Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Bracing Anchor, and Sustained by Suffering. So for gear, we're going to be running a Pillar of Nirn Dagger with an Absorb Stamina enchant traded in Nirnhoned. And for the offhand, we're running a Pillar of Nirn Shield with Max Stam traded in Sturdy. For the back bar, we're running a Greatsword of Maelstrom with Weapon and Spell Damage enchant traded in Infused. For the helm, we have a one piece of Baron Zaldrus Mask Medium Armor with Max Stam traded in Divines. For the chest, waist, hands, legs, and feet, we have 5 pieces of Medusa. The chest has a tri-stat glyph and the pants as well. Chest is traded in Reinforced and the rest are all traded in Divines. For the shoulder, we have a Pillar of Nirn Max Stam traded in Divines. And for the jewelry, we have 2 pieces of Pillar of Nirn, both with weapon damage enchants traded in Triune. And for Mythic, we're going to be running Death Dealer. This is also with a weapon damage enchant traded in Triune. So for skills, we're going to be running Relentless Focus, Surprise Attack, Killer's Blade, Dark Cloak, Inner Beast, Incapacitating Strike, Stampede, Carve, Twisting Path, Mirage, Leeching Strikes, and Consuming Darkness. So I'm going to blend rotation and closing thoughts together here. First off, as a tank, you want to make sure you always keep your buffs up. These include Dark Cloak, Mirage, and Leeching Strikes. Once you have those buffs up, then you can worry about doing DPS unless you're tanking something that doesn't require any healing or you're completely fine not buffing. I'd make sure I always keep up Stampede and Carve. Those are 2 really important dots to keep up. So the thing about Twisting Path is I like to think of that as this flex spot. I run Twisting Path because it gives major expedition and does DPS, but you could always replace it with Caltrops. I choose Caltrops as my source of major breach because I like to run Inner Rage on the front bar. You could always drop Inner Rage on the front bar and run Pierce Armor instead, so you can get the major and minor breach. In terms of DPS, when you don't have anything better to cast, just cast your Surprise Attack, and then when you have 5 stacks of Relentless, just use your Spectral Bow. And obviously Killer's Blade is always going to be the execute that you can spam. In terms of replacement of some skills for the back bar, I'm running Consuming Darkness on there, but you can always swap that out for Warhorn or Barrier depending on what the content requires. And if you're trying to tank something harder, I'd actually swap out one of my glyphs for Magical Recovery because this build doesn't have enough mag sustain fully tank anything that hits hard. Another thing is you can run Orzoga's Bear Haunch or Tri-Stat Food, but I think Bear Haunch might work better for this build because it gives you mag recovery, stam recovery, and health, and also gives you health recovery. So for healing for this build, we have 2 sources of healing as default. We have our Dark Cloak and we have our Spectral Bow. Both of those will heal us, and obviously, as I said earlier, Twisting Path is your flex skill, so you can run another heal there if you feel like you need more healing. But for any easy content, those two skills should be enough healing. And one last thing, if you do need chains, just grab the skill from the Fighters Guild skill line. Should be called Silver Leash, and you're good to go. That wraps up the build explanation section of this portion. As always, thank you for watching my video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. As a reminder, if this video helped in any way, please help the channel grow by subscribing, and if you like the piggies, like the video, feel free to stick around for an attached parse, and I'll include a dungeon run right after this. And if neither of those interest you, then thank you for watching and have a good day.